Good morning to you all, if anyone's there. Today we're testing out the e-bike again, and we've driven 20 kilometers down towards the Rhine, and look at these nice birds here. If you can see that, just zoom you around. Yeah, this guy's got no camera skills whatsoever, no cinematic skills. So what we're going to do now, today we've driven down to the Rhine. Well, actually this is a canal which goes from the Black Forest Mountains up there, works its way down into the Rhine, and we're going to follow this path up the canal and onto the Rhine, then follow the Rhine up for about 10 miles. A bit chilly today, but there's a strong south wind and that's going to be behind us, and we've got the power of the e-bike to push us along too. So let's hope the microphone's working and the camera's working. And you're going to have to look at my ugly mug because I've got the camera pointing towards me. So you won't see much anyway because the camera's going to be facing in the sun. But I've come to find that GoPro film from the bike's pretty boring. So let's get going. So first of all we have to energize the bike. 3, 2, 1, energize. Bike's energized. We've got everything, yep. Camera, tripod, gloves, camera, phone, all the bits and pieces. So, can you see me? Ooh. Might be a bit bouncy down there. This is just a gravel path we're on now. Yeah, so that was like a weir to slow the water down a bit before it hits the Rhine. And I'm testing out the how I'm getting for distance on the bike, and at the moment I've done about 20 kilometers and all the levels are on full still on the bike. But I've only been riding on the number 1 level of assistance, which is it's just like riding with a tailwind really. And I'll keep stopping off and taking some shots of whatever I see that looks nice. Oh, I wish I could spin this camera around. There's beautiful birds flying past all the time. Ah, great. Up ahead I see some wonderful lentil clouds. What do they call them? Lenticular clouds. Wow. That's because there's warm winds blowing up from the south and they're supposed to get stormy later. I'll keep my eye on the path here because at some points this path's underwater, so it's quite boggy here. It's funny, you come out on a sort of grey, miserable day and you think there'll be nothing to film, but everywhere you look there's something to film if you're just going for the aesthetic feel of things. And these trees here look great. You can see them there. Can't swivel the camera around because I've not set up the GoPro properly on the bike yet. This is a nature reserve because, as I said, it's a floodplain, and so nothing gets built down here. No point in building anything down here, it gets periodically flooded. So it's very quiet and perfect place for wildlife. Lots of birds. if you're into birds. This is still the canal going to the Rhine. The weather's improving actually, it's getting nicer. So I was telling you, this place is often underwater, and you can see that here. See, there was somebody swimming and got caught in the tree, and all that's left is their mask. And this is, if you look down at the ground here, you can see how it's been flooded, and that's why there's all the plastic everywhere. Somebody's hat. And it's quite like a Louisiana swamp when it floods. If you look down there, you can see it's the forest, and it's often about 1 or 2 meters deep, the water. Quite nice. And you see the grass flowing away from the river. I've got so much technology with me today, it's a bit overwhelming. I've got a thing on the phone going, a bike app following me, telling me how far I've gone. I've got the DSLR camera, tripod, Zoom recorder, microphone, GoPro, e-bike. I remember the old days when all you had was a piece of jam and bread and a pedal bike, and that was it. Threepence halfpenny in your pocket to get a bottle of pop when you were thirsty. None of this high-tech stuff. You might have had an ever-ready lamp without a battery working in it. That was it. That's all we had. Whoops, slip here. That's one thing I've noticed on the e-bike. You go a bit faster than you expect, and you can get a bit slippy on muddy bits. So I'm going to stop off up here because this is where the canal's going into the Rhine, and it's opening out a bit, and there's a bit of space there, so we can take some pictures. That lenticular cloud is gone. So that's where the canal's coming in from the river, joining the Rhine. I think we'll carry on a little bit further. Sometimes there's a funny knocking noise coming from the hub at the back. I don't know what it is. A bit worrying. And the people down here at the moment is a few forest workers, a few fishermen. If you look on the left side of the picture, that's France there, and this side of the river is Germany. You can see those clouds up there. That's one of those lenticular ones I was talking about. I think we'll stop and take a shot of the camera. Take a shot with the camera, we've got time. give the motor a rest. Have a sandwich too. Something about them lenticular clouds, I really love them. It's when dry warm air comes from the south and look like flying saucers. They're not that strong at the moment. They might get strong later because this afternoon the wind's supposed to pick up quite a bit. Also known as snow eaters, those winds. Warm and dry. They come over the Alps, lose all the moisture. You think birds are stupid, but they're not. They've got really good eyes and they can see for miles if you get a tripod out, and they think it's a gun and they shoot off. I don't think they're too bothered about phones, but tripods they don't like. So we've still got a full charge on the display there. As I say, I've just done about 25 miles, 25 kilometres now, and in the book it said you could get probably 100 kilometres if you go on the lowest assistance level on flat ground, weighing 65 kilos. And the other week I tried it in the mountains, and that was like, first of all, a 400 metre climb into the mountains, and didn't like it at all. When I got to the top, the bars were already down to level 3. So it makes a big difference if you use a lot of assistance and be going up hills. Battery runs down really quick. So this is one of the weirs that let the water go into the forest and it gets too deep. You can see the overflow of the Rhine going into the forest. That's where it goes in. Super dangerous. That's why swimming's it's allowed, I guess, but I wouldn't recommend it. Swimming's not recommended because if one of these things sucks you under there, you might come out in the forest 2 miles away. Oh, there's a little picnic hut somebody's built there. Little place to have a sandwich. Even got an ashtray in there. Little fireplace. It looks a bit windy in there to me though. Even a bottle of schnapps in there. And this is actually not the main Rhine. The main Rhine's over there behind those trees in the distance. This is another subsidiary of the Rhine. And you can't really go on this bit with a boat because there's loads of weirs. I said weirs. Weirs. there you can see now the water's had time to mix and go all milky. Milky, milky. Wind's picking up behind me. I have to decide whether to go on a long way up the Rhine. Level's just gone down one. That's not too bad. I think I might stop for a sandwich soon. Find a nice place, set up the camera, have a sandwich. I don't know how long the battery's going to last in the GoPro, but I'm not going to be turning it on and off because it's just too much hassle to find the audio then afterwards and editing afterwards. So I'll just leave it till it runs out. So in theory, well, this path goes to Basel and just follows the Rhine, this path. In theory, you could drive all the way to Rotterdam on this path. It'd be quite a nice ride, that, I think, to go from Switzerland all the way up the Rhine, down the Rhine, and all the way to Rotterdam. And I don't know how many kilometres it is, maybe at least 1,100, 1,200 kilometres. But if to think that a river's going downhill all that way and up a place called the Bodensee where the sort of Rhine collects for a while, that's about 400 metres above sea level. So you've got 400 metres above sea level going down to sea level over 1,100 kilometres. So you'd have a very, very slight incline all the way. Always nice to ride next to a river. Even if it's industrial, it's interesting usually. Anyway, it's much, much nicer than riding next to a road for some reason. So it's a dead end up ahead. I have to go into the forest now. The swans say, "You shall not pass." Time for a sarnie. Cheese and Branston pickle. Seeing as we have got time, I think I will ride up to this dead end at the end of the path here. It's only 5 kilometres, but it might be a nice shot up the river. And that's what is a nice thing about these e-bikes is, like you say, normally, God, I'm knackered now, but it's not a problem, just zoom off up there. So the next thing I might do with this bike is put some better tyres on. These ones are too smooth. I don't rate much to the front forks either there. That's the problem, yeah, isn't it? You're just getting the base line quality and the forks are not that brilliant either. The forks are better quality on the other bike. And we're coming to the end of the path. Two strange birds on the path in front of us. What are they? Oh, they don't attack me. Just a few shots, a bit of B-roll, maybe put on top of this GoPro footage. Change the lens. Fuck's sake. Shit. Damage control, a little bit. Oh, back across the river again to the other side. Not